next we have Mark Gregory. Mark is CEO of LYNQ MES. I think it's 2 a.m. in the morning where he is. So he's being a trooper for attending this session with us. So over to you, Mark.
Thanks very much, Al. Let me just share my screen as well. Here we go. Yes. So look, it's a real pleasure, despite being 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning here, UK time. But it's a real pleasure to be talking to you all today and talking to introduce you to LYNQ MES as it can play as in combination with Myob Advanced. So really, in the next 20 minutes after that great presentation from Brian, is a good introduction to what we offer as an extension, if you like, and an enrichment of Myob Advanced in the manufacturing space. And by combining Myob Advanced and MES, we're really looking to sort of accelerate your digital journey and drive the performance and the output of your manufacturing business. By way of sort of quick introduction from my side, yes, I am based in the UK. It is 3 o'clock in the morning, but I'm also joined by our regional manager for Asia Pacific, who are based in Australia there, Mark Senior as well, who's also on this call as well, just to show that we have representation across the globe as a business and that we're here to support you. Now, my background generally is that I have, a bit like David, worked in manufacturing for 25 years. 50 of those have been in senior positions within public listed manufacturing companies in industrial equipment and medical devices in the UK and the USA, actually. But in the last 10 years, I've been more of a consultant and advisory capacity, I guess, to small to mid-sized manufacturers. And by small to mid-sized manufacturers, I mean manufacturers probably between 50 employees and 1,000 employees or thereabouts. And that's been in the capacity of CEO as LYNQ. So generally, those are the manufacturers that we serve. But often we go actually and work with very large manufacturers beyond that, you know, up to 3,000 or 4,000 employees in the manufacturer. So believe it or not, I'm here in that consulting advisory capacity and honestly really not here to sell. My aim of the next 20 minutes is to kind of demystify for you some words around digitalization rather than confusing matters, and hopefully provide a bit of focus and some practical steps about how to, you know, reach that digitalization point in your business faster rather than be generalistic. So just digesting the opening sentence there, you know, next decade, forward-thinking businesses will transform themselves through connectivity, data, automation, and increasingly sophisticated workforce. So in that context, which is trying to simplify things, you know, I'd like to talk about the need to adapt and digitalize. And today it's more about survival as well, and then the ability to thrive. But it's not a nice to have anymore, it's a must have. And then we'll talk about the context of manufacturing operations management and how that would lead to operational excellence, which is a culture within manufacturing companies. And lastly, how that translates into real financial, tangible benefits by you focusing and managing your resource effectiveness within your manufacturing facility. So we'll start with digital transformation. I probably don't need to sort of say this, but companies that digitalize their environments, whether it be through ERP and MES solutions, and these are statistics actually produced by Cambridge University in the UK, studying manufacturers across the globe, was that 55% of them found a reduction in labour costs, 45% reduction in defects and errors, 45% reduction in material costs, 30% increase in outputs, and 30% improved delivery and service performance. And that was pre-COVID. You know, since then we've had this COVID pandemic. And really, I could sum up the whole slide here really in the fact that what the major benefit is you as an organization becoming agile, allowing you to flex when when things aren't going perhaps as straightforward as you would expect them to do because of a pandemic or because demand is choppy or moving up and down. And that's honestly, the real goal and drive towards digitalizing your environment. I would refer to it as a dial effect that you need with your business. So, you need the ability to be able to ramp up and ramp down quickly to adjust to the changing world that's out there and the changing environment. So that's why we do this. Now, in the context of manufacturing operations management and how that leads to operational excellence, this quote around "if you can't measure it, you can't improve it" from Peter Drucker has long been used to illustrate what you need to do as a management team, let's say, to run and drive and improve your business. You can also say, you can't manage what you can't measure. Other quotes, they're all along the same lines. But when you're looking at operational excellence, let's say, and some key manufacturing KPIs, that doesn't matter which industry that you're in, these should and do resonate, and what you should focus on. So, if you're a job shop environment, overall labour effectiveness is extremely important, so that you manage the cost of your labour and you're getting the most out of those employees and resources that you have. If you're a batch production environment, then it's actually a combination of looking at overall labour effectiveness and overall equipment effectiveness that you would use, and it needs to be a balance of both. If you're running a production line, then it's very much focused on overall equipment effectiveness because you've invested in the equipment to run the line as efficiently as possible. Now, these percentages underneath aren't sort of a de facto standard across all industries. They do differ by your business, your industry, and where you are. But generally, what you need to do is set a target, understand what the benchmark is in your industry, and it could be that labour effectiveness within your business needs to be at 60%. And the question is, where are you today, and how can you improve that percentage to drive the effectiveness and what it's worth to me in financials, which we'll cover off. Same thing for overall equipment effectiveness. And the last one there is another metric which is key for manufacturing, and it really puts it in the context of the calendar overall. So 24 hours in a day, 7 days a week. How efficiently am I using that capacity, and how well is my equipment performing over that overall capacity that I have? To articulate this in a more simple form, if you take 24 hours of manufacturing, whether you're a human being, a machine, or you're comparing it to the calendar days, times that we have, 24 hours can often see that you may not run a shift for the full 24 hours. It may be you run 2 10-hour shifts or whatever they may be, or 3 shifts within that time. And you're starting off where from that total effective equipment performance, you've already lost, let's say, 4 hours. But that's you've taken the decision to do that, and that's where you need to run. After that, you need to think now how that 24 hours gets chipped away into effective hours. So from a loading perspective, and this is a planning and scheduling where that becomes really important, you've got planned downtime coming in. So from idle time of machines not running, it could be setups and changeovers from one product to the next, teardowns, cleaning, maintenance. It's all lost. We're not being productive during that time. After the plan is published to the shop floor, you have unplanned downtime. Equipment will break down, tooling failures, operator shortages, all the normal stuff that happens. You may have performance loss then, whether it be employees or equipment. It could be that your operators are not trained to do a particular process that you wanted, so therefore it's taking longer than normal. It could be that the machinery is getting old. It could be that there's some wear and tear on that causes a performance loss. So in other words, I'm not producing 100 products in an hour as I was supposed to do from my bill of material and routing that's sitting there in MYOB Advanced, and we can compare that. And last but not least, I need to be producing good quality product every time. And so I might have a quality loss because I've actually spent time producing something that is not of good quality. And, when you look at it like that, start with 24 hours, I end up with 10 hours of those really being effective. So that's effective time when I'm producing good product. And the rest of it is lost through that. And that we're just looking here in the context of, if you like, one individual, one piece of equipment, one resource. And if you then think about that in multiplying that out by 365 days a year, by how many resources that you have, by the cost per hour, which in the US is an average about $35 per hour, so labor or machine. In Australia, it's about 45 Australian dollars thereabouts. It's a significant amount of money. Not least at 1,000 hours, and you can quickly amount that in every month will cost the business 35,000 US dollars, or about 45,000 Australian dollars. So those key KPIs, which are on the right-hand side there, one for labour, one for equipment, and one overlooking from the calendar overall, get supported by 4 metrics. Those metrics look at loading that we've talked about, planned downtime, things from idling and setup and tear down. They come from availability, which is equipment breakdowns, etc. It comes from performance or reduced speed, operator inefficiencies or component jams or whatever we might have. And it comes from quality aspect. So it can be production and startup rejects that we would have. And actually, overall labor effectiveness and equipment effectiveness is calculated by multiplying availability by performance by quality. And total effective equipment performance is adding loading to that. So you multiply loading by availability by quality by performance. And that gives you those metrics. So if we look at this in the context of, let's say, what we provide and trying to provide you that focus and look at the financial benefits. We offer an MES solution. So what is an MES solution? This is a fully integrated planning and production system. So while MYOB Advanced offers some level of scheduling, within the MES solution, you will get a full graphical planning board with finite capacity where you can automatically schedule your orders to get the most out of your factory in the most efficient way. So it's a key element of that. The diagram on the right-hand side shows resource management and definition management. And just to simply put that in context, resources is looking like employees and equipment that you might set up within MYOB Advanced. Definition management, things like bill of materials and routing that you might. But we use that, leverage that information to build, a really detailed production scheduling plan that's optimized with graphical tools to do that. We can dispatch that plan. We can control and execute that plan through the shop floor. We can collect data from that. Again, so where you want data collection, if you like, on steroids or so from there are optimum ways of collecting data efficiently, accurately, from human beings, from machines automatically, so that you can bring this into the application and you can analyze that. And actually as a hybrid of both, so on behalf of the machine without actually automating and collecting the data automatically. And all of this leads to tracking and information, so you can see where your jobs are, you can see what your employees are doing, you can see where the equipment is. But most importantly is to understand those performance, those KPIs there from a factory point of view, to know, am I running this business and this factory better today than I was last quarter or last month, etc. So the MES solution incorporates all of that, fully integrated, where all of the white lines in between all of those are talking to one another. So if something changes on the shop floor, the schedule gets updated and vice versa. As a business, so we offer this. We currently have 15,000 resources being managed by our software. It's not the same as users. We have many more users than that, across about 250 customers, in fact, nearly 300 now, in about 16 or 17 industries in 14 countries. And our solution is built around that diagram that you see on the right-hand side, which incidentally is an international standard for manufacturing operations management. It's been around, as many of these things are, for many years, and it still holds true. And it's supported by 4 pillars underneath that to look at production, inventory, maintenance, and quality, which we offer from an MES system to advance that. Now, we offer plug and play, we call connectivity to MYOB. So literally you turn the system on and it's automatically syncing in real time MYOB data with MES data, so there's really nothing to think about. We're not just within the MYOB space, we operate in other ERP solutions as well, as you can see on the screen. In essence, what we offer then is a solution that can plan, track, automate, analyze, and optimize. So we talked about visual schedules, online plans, interactive job lists on the shop floor. We offer clocking systems as well, which is fully integrated to give you, so you understand employees starting and arriving during the day. Real-time data collection gives you the tracking. We can link with machines, with PLCs, with other I/O devices to bring the data from the machines automatically into the software to give you the performance analysis, but most important, to give you the loss visualization, which I'll come on to, which is the financial benefits around resource effectiveness. And we wrap it in a solution that has document control, downtime alerts to your mobile phone, for example. When a machine goes down, you can receive a message, and actually interactive collaborative messaging from the top floor to the shop floor. So somebody on the shop floor can communicate with their management team. So in terms of connectivity, we connect to MYOB Advanced 2020.6 and above. All those releases, you do need to be on that release in order to be able to leverage LYNQ and add LYNQ on. We can connect to machines, and we support over 140 industrial drivers, from Siemens to Allen Bradley to Mitsubishi, to almost any machine you can think of that we can integrate with. We talk about scalability, so you can integrate our application with many other applications, such as, let's say, label printing. So if you wanted to print labels straight from the MES, then that's easy to do with webhooks. And then if you don't have enough information from the canned reports, which would be surprising actually within the solution, then you can always build your own apps and reports using Microsoft Power Platform, and we support that. We cover 15 industries, of which are shown on the screen, a mix of process and discrete, but we're really focusing on your environment, whether it's job batch or line environments, and seamlessly sort of linking the similar industries that MYOB, Advanced cover, and Momentum, and Al's team cover in Australia. So some key sort of takeaways of what we're offering by way of quick introduction, and I will show you the software just very briefly here. It's one solution. You will see in a second that it offers very fast payback, and it does that by increasing that effectiveness of your resources. We deploy it in 12 weeks, or quick to deploy. It can be offered on-prem or in the cloud. It's really any way you want to take this. And we offer a SaaS solution as well to support that. Highly configurable for your particular industry, insightful in terms of inbuilt analytics and this connection to machines. So at this point, I'll just show you the software just very briefly. But before I do, I just want to mention, and we'll circulate this slide deck after this webinar closes, but there's a full demo of the solution, which you can watch in your own time if it sparks any interest. And if you want to have a consultation, then please contact the Momentum team. So let me just switch it over and show you just, let's say, one of the reports within the solution here. So you're looking at the application platform here now. If I look at the home screen here, we've also got details, scheduling, dispatching, so you can see it's built around that manufacturing operations management standard. If I look at loss management, which is one of the reports, and this will put real life context around what I've just been talking about. Here we've got, we're looking at a period here, which is January for a given month, and we're looking at 8 pieces of equipment that you can see in this list here. What it's showing you is that those 8 pieces of equipment have around 6,000 calendar hours. But during the month, there were various losses that we've just talked about that actually reduced the effective hours from those pieces of equipment to just over 1,000. And underneath that, you see a breakdown of the reasons why you lost, or there was that waste created in the process that resulted in these number of effective hours. Now, what's important is that while you can see percentage losses here that we've had in a total of 81% loss through the calendar hours that we were looking at, I can also then see how many hours that affected within a given month. So remember the 1,000 hours, $35,000. So this is 4,800 hours lost on just 8 pieces of equipment in a given month. And then you can look to see how much that's actually costing you in terms of your cost rate per hour, whatever that may be, because you can actually program the system in order to put your rates in. But this is a rate of, let's say, 45 Australian dollars per hour. And you can see how much you're losing from, let's say, a planning and scheduling or loading loss. So that's the planned downtime, unplanned downtime, performance loss from operator inefficiency or rough running, or quality loss, for example, that you have. And you can see the reasons underneath. You can drill into these areas to see, for example, more detail on the availability. Day by day, what happened in your particular environment and what the major losses of availability, which is unplanned downtime, were. So 18.5 hours of tooling failure in a given month, for example, on those machines. So you can drill into that and really drive your continuous improvement efforts. Generally, what we see is customers see an increase in their effectiveness by between 5 and 30%, depending on their environments, in both their labour and their equipment effectiveness. And that really does translate into huge savings. That's a cost rate figure per month, so 216,000, Australian dollars per month. And if you translate that into what that means in terms of your lost revenue, this is the sort of key focal point for manufacturers to get that information in order to be able to drive the continuous improvement. That's just a sort of a glimpse, as I said, of our software and what we do. I said we do cover the whole gamut from plan, track, automate, analyze, and optimize. By all means, click the recording of the video to see a full demo. In that, just thank you for your time, and I hope that glimpse of what we can offer is somewhat of interest to you.